guys, and welcome to Classic Rock and Country Music Facts and Trivia. Today's video is on Tammy Wynette, country legend, who her daughters believed she had concocted a kidnapping story. Years ago, she claimed to have been kidnapped and beaten, but her daughters believe that she made it up herself. Let's take a look into that. After country star Tammy Wynette died in 1998, two of her daughters shared part of her story through the memoir and shined a new light on a harrowing kidnapping incident in '78. Visibly bruised, Wynette described being abducted to the public 2 decades before she died. But why did some of her children think she made up the story to cover the truth of what happened to her? And how does it all relate to their suspicions about the cause of death? As reported by People magazine, Wynette revealed she'd been kidnapped in October of '78. According to the Stand By Your Man singer, she was abducted while out shopping for one of her daughters. One of the most terrifying experiences of my life, she said. I felt a poke in my side and heard a man say drive. All I could see was a brown glove and a lot of hair on his arm, 2 inches of a gun barrel, she said. The violent ordeal allegedly lasted about 2 hours, after which the assailant left in another vehicle after driving 80 miles through the back country of Tennessee. Wynette said she was beaten and choked and then left in shock with fractured cheekbone and severe bruising. After her attacker fled, she went to a nearby home for help, still gasping for air. After Wynette claimed she was abducted, she still had all her cash and credit cards. No demand was made for a shocking kidnapping ransom like other high-profile cases. Investigators found the crime very puzzling due to the lack of apparent motive other than injuring and terrifying a country music star. Wynette's daughters later expressed doubts that their mother's story was accurate. First, Jackie Daly wrote, Tammy Wynette, a daughter, recalls her mother's tragic life and death. In it, she claimed her mother told her that the abduction was a cover-up. Georgette Jones, daughter of Wynette and George Jones, was just a child at the time of the alleged kidnapping, but she agreed with Daly's versions of the events in her memoir, The Three of Us Growing Up with Tammy and George. Now, they both believe that their mother made up the story to cover domestic violence. They suspected she'd been abused at the hands of her 5th husband, George Ritchie. Daly alleged she heard about the assaults from Wynette, and Jones believed it true. She did admit to her sister that when all that stuff came out about being kidnapped in '78, that she and Ritchie had had a fight and he had beaten her. Jones wrote, per Country Living, he threatened to destroy her life and write a tell-all book, so she decided to stay with him. They thought the kidnapping was staged for PR to explain Wynette's injuries. Though Ritchie later denied the allegations from Wynette's daughters, people got a debatedly odd quote from him after the supposed abduction. He said, I tell her she's twice as beautiful with her bruises. Some of Wynette's loved ones believe Ritchie was responsible for much more than her injuries. After she died in '98, her daughters filed a wrongful death lawsuit, which originally included her widower. Since the couple was still married, some of her 4 children believe he enabled a drug dependency that caused her death to fail at 55. There were some people who witnessed Mom saying she didn't want any pain medication, to not give her any more, and Ritchie would continue to inject her anyway. Jones wrote in her memoir, according to the Boot. There are many times when she didn't want it because she was in pain, and he refused to give it to her. I have no legal evidence. I do think he was indirectly responsible for my mom's death, Jones added. We found out so many things after my mom died, it's painful to think that my mom lived the life that she lived and didn't understand some of it. Notably, wrongful death lawsuits in cases where drugs are involved can sometimes be challenging to win. Take Prince's family as an example. Eventually, Ritchie's name was dropped from efforts to hold someone accountable for his wife's death, but Wynette's family ultimately settled with her doctor out of court. What a strange life. And you hear a lot of that with old time country music couples and stuff, or rock too. It's just a different time, and people didn't talk back then. Glad they do today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please don't forget about Classic TV Facts and Trivia. Please subscribe while you're over there. Please subscribe while you're here. Thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless you. I'll be praying for you.